started. You guys are watching the Wholesale Formula founders. Eric is on the left, Dan is on the right. We're going to be discussing a lot of things about wholesale today. These guys you're looking at $20 million in sales on Amazon in just a few short years. And these guys are going to be telling you exactly how they got started and how you can get started as well. David, thank you. Cool shirts. To the back.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I should have mine on, yeah.
We're going to make another one called Make America Wholesale Again. That's what we're going to do.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Everybody's coming in. Can you please look for the chat button? It should be on the bottom of your screen right below Eric and Dan, and just jump in and say hello. Okay. Want to make sure there's a good Laura. Hi, Laura. Hi, Yara Camille Weiss. Hi, Laura Haskins, Laura Bellett, Suzanne Winter. Cool. All right.
Some people coming in now. Yeah, that's good.
Excellent. So, and this is being taped. So the people that are coming in late, or you want to watch the whole thing over again, we're going to have it taped for you and sent to you. And we're gonna go live right now. We're gonna start talking. You guys are looking at Eric Lambert on the left, Dan Meadows on the right, founders of the Wholesale Formula. And I promised you a Q&A with them. And you guys got started selling on Amazon 2011-ish, but you really didn't start doing wholesale until 2015.
Is it 2014?
Right? Yeah, it was July.
So in only 4 years, you guys have gone from, I think you did $1 million in sales roughly a year, pre-wholesale, and now you've done over $20 million over the course of 4 years, which is spectacular, unheard of.
Thank you.
So why don't you guys give us a little background on how you got started and more so how you got involved in wholesale?
Sure. Well, we got started with retail arbitrage, like you said, in 2011, and at that time, me and Eric both had full-time jobs. We were, doing that. We were doing that. We were driving around to retail stores, buying stuff, and just bringing it home and selling it on Amazon. But the thing that shocked us was how big Amazon was and how well things sold, right? And it took about 6 months for us to realize that Amazon. That we could really do well and make a lot of money on Amazon. So we left our full-time jobs, went full-time in January of 2012, and just stayed with retail arbitrage until about 2014. Now, and I still like to tell people that retail arbitrage is still an amazing way to get started selling your products on Amazon. Like, it's a great way to acquire products, and it's really low risk, and it would still work. We still believe it does work today. But the problem is we were investing so much time. Like, we were on the road 5-6 days a week. We would come home, process products, be back out, and just not really get to spend very much time with our families. And it was really, really hard. So we were looking for a model that fit better for us, that would let us be at home and let us kind of manage the business rather than do the business. And that we started looking at a couple different things. We opened up a little brick and mortar retail store. That didn't work out so well. We opened up our own little website, just a retail website, and that one didn't pan out very good for us. We did some private label, and it was just like we did okay in private label, but it was hard for us to scale it. And we realized that it took a little. I feel like it takes a lot of specialized talent. Like, you have to really have a good eye for product. You have to have a really good eye for design, and just be somewhat familiar with getting your products into the United States, which seemed to, it's definitely harder than we wanted at first. So then we started focusing on wholesale, and our first little trip into wholesale was pretty unsuccessful, but we knew that we knew we could do it well. Whenever we got started the same way everybody else does. They Google wholesale, and they just start clicking on links, or they make them they buy them a plane ticket and they head to ASD, not really knowing what they're looking for. And
what Dan just mentioned, very critically, guys that are watching this, you have never sourced wholesale before. Dan got started Dan and Eric both got started the wrong way. They quickly fixed it. There's a blog article I did. There's a short link, bit.ly/fake wholesale. And that, not to interrupt your flow, Dan, but I want people to read that, because that's that will open your eyes to the way that many people are doing wholesale and they're just doing it wrong. So go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
I mean, I agree. Like that's the thing is just an article like that. Honestly, I mean, whenever we got started, if those types of things existed, I didn't find them.
Right? No, we had no idea.
And we took our lumps. I mean, we made some pretty terrible buys. We just didn't know what we were doing. I mean, and I think that's the fear for most people is just not knowing where to get started and not knowing if they're doing a good job or not. And I can tell you, the first time we went to ASD, it was so overwhelming. Like,
right.
We would go up to booths and we would talk to them about, the products that they had. And it just didn't seem like pricing was there for anything. Like, no matter what, it's just like we look at the price and it's like, how does anybody ever make money with this stuff? But while we were at the show, we were still getting started with wholesaling and just wanted it to work so bad. I remember going back to the room and I was talking to Eric and I was like, we've literally not done anything. All we've done is walk around and just talk to a whole bunch of people and do nothing all day long. Like, we got to buy something. If we don't buy something, this is going to be just an epic fail.
Right.
And Eric's like, he's like, yeah, I mean, we've been trying. I mean, so we went out the next day and we're trying to buy stuff and we forced buys, which I think is the worst thing you can do. Is we just bought products that were relatively mediocre and just to say we were there, just to be doing whole-sale, so to speak.
And you call it forced buy? Is that like a term? Is that like a
no? It's just it was a buy we probably shouldn't have made.
Right.
And it was just we were trying to make the situation work as opposed to waiting on a better product or trying to find better suppliers like a more seasoned wholesale person would. Well, those ended up being completely disastrous. By the time the products got to us, there was literally, it was already losing money. And honestly, that discouraged us pretty good from wholesale. But I think that's a track for how a lot of people end up getting started. And then you see these horror stories about, it didn't work for me.
Sure.
Luckily, we kind of figured out a better method and turned it around. And I think a key for your audience and folks watching this is you gotta just look for a better way. Like that's the trick is there is always a better way to do stuff.
Right. That's a good segue because a lot of people that are jumping in here, people can sound off who's getting frustrated with retail arbitrage and or private label. If you are doing either or, and sound off in the chat box because what I've discovered is that wholesale is when you source wholesale the correct way, the way that you guys teach it, and the way that you guys are doing it now, it remedies a lot of those problems, right? So with retail arbitrage, there's always a problem with replenishing. You find a great deal online or in stores, and you can't find it again. Wholesale, when it's done correctly, fixes that. Private label, you got problems with piggybacks, people piggybacking the listing, and then you kind of have to create a brand from scratch. And wholesale remedies those problems too. So I'm curious to know if somebody was totally green watching this webinar, and they asked you, Dan, what do I have to do to get started? Can you rattle off the first 5 things that somebody needs to do?
Sure. Well, with wholesale, like with retail arbitrage, I feel like you can be a little less formal. Like you still need to set up a business and stuff, but with wholesale, you're going to need a resale certificate if your state has one. And honestly, I think the first step is starting operating as a business, right? Set yourself up to operate as a business, and it's rather than go into the weeds and look for people who sell products, find products that you want to carry, and then find out how to source those products. And that was the big deal for us. That was the big turning point. Is after we came home from that ASD, we had all these millions of catalogs. Like, because that's the thing, everybody wants to give you their catalog while you're there. And I'm not even kidding, Jordan. I bet we had a 50-pound backpack full of catalogs. Mm-hmm. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we get back and I hand one to Eric and I get one and I just start looking and we're sitting there looking and I swear it was like a day in. I was like, Eric, how many products have you found that we should buy? And he was like 3, man. This is awful. It's just completely awful. Right. And effectively, what we were doing right there was wholesale arbitrage. I mean, that's all it is. It's right. It's like trying to find treasure, buried treasure. So sure. Which is kind of like arbitrage or thrifting or something like that. And it just wasn't very efficient. I remember we were like, how are people doing this regularly? I mean, there's obviously a way that this is, you can look at the biggest sellers on Amazon and they're all carrying branded products. How are they doing it? And, it's funny because I was on the page of a product and I was like, I wish I could just find this product. That's the one I want. That product right there. I don't want to be going through this catalog and sifting and trying to find gold nuggets. I just want that product that's on my screen. And Eric's like, what if we just called that company? Like, if we just called them, we could find out who sells it. Right. And that's ultimately how we got started. Now it seems kind of ridiculous, right? It seems like that's the way you should automatically think is I should find a product that I like and I should find out who sells it. But then, I mean, everything we had read told us to go find wholesalers or distributors, see what they got, see what actually works, and then buy those products. But it's just so inefficient. It did not work for us at all. Like instead, it made a lot more sense. And ultimately, we actually did get lucky on that very first product. We called them and they were like, oh yeah, we sell direct and we can go ahead and email you over our price list and our terms. And it was like, oh, this is a thing. Like this is a thing. They actually just will sell to you. And it blew our minds how low the minimum orders were. Like we expected $20,000 minimum orders or just astronomically large minimum orders. But the first one we got was $250. And it was like, whoa, I spend more on a trip to Walmart when I'm going for retail arbitrage. And this is a company I get to start developing a relationship with right here. Like this is a company I can, like you said, it's replenishability. I run out of this product. I can buy it again and again and again. And I don't have to go source I don't have to go source again, right? I don't have to ever find out where to get that product again. I just get to make money on it for a really long time. So that right there, Jordan, and I would say that happened about, because we started July of 2014 with our disaster side. And then I'd say this happened about October, wouldn't you?
That sounds about right.
And and this tells you how fast this can, this kind of model can scale. By January of 2015, we had completely cut out retail arbitrage. Like wholesale was our business.
I believe it. So when people say, how do I get started? The first thing is establish yourself as a true business. You can't be Joe Schmo, right? So you need to have like a tax ID, right? And ideally a domain, like a little website that kind of showcases you as not individual products, but as a real business.
Right? Exactly. I think that makes you look professional. It makes you look like you care about yourself and your brand and how you represent that. And another thing with that is get a domained email. Like don't be sending emails from, Jordan is the man at gmail.com. Instead, get a professional email address. And that way, whenever you're contacting the companies, they take you a little more seriously. They look and they see that you have a presence online. They see that you're not just some, you're not just some dude out of his garage just hoping to make a few dollars on Amazon. Like instead, it looks like you're a company and you actually care about the products you sell.
So, and the third step that you just talked about is finding products to sell, where everybody's thinking, oh, I like baby products, and I'm going to go find catalogs from wholesalers of baby products online and drill down them. You guys start at the end. I think you call it reverse sourcing, correct? So can you framework a little bit about what you look for? Of course, I know you have a team that does it for you now in software, et cetera.
Sure.
But if you didn't have that and you were on Amazon, are there key things that you look for in a product that say, hey, maybe we got to try to contact the manufacturer of this to sell it?
No, absolutely.
Right? I know one of them is I know your top one is if Amazon's selling it, you don't bother because they have too much buying power.
Right? Well, it's not just that. I mean, Amazon doesn't realistically, all Amazon sellers are created equal. Like we all share the buy box based on our metrics, right? So that means if I'm selling a product and Jordan's selling a product, for example, that I may sell a couple more if my account's slightly bigger, but it's not going to be by a lot. Like effectively, you may get 48% equity and I get 52% or something like that. But it balances out to, you can almost just say that you'll get half the sales and I'll get half the sales. Right. That doesn't happen with Amazon. Like Amazon, now sometimes they will share the buy box. It's not never. On certain products, they may share the buy box.
But it's difficult to forecast and build a business model on unpredictability because they don't have to share any. And like he says, if there's no rhyme or reason when they do share the buy box or why. So you could order this product because it sold really well for the 2 months before then. But like they've decided at this point, they've they're not sharing the buy box, and now you've gotten this, you're just unknown, and it puts you in a bad situation. So that's why we avoid it, really.
I mean, to give you an example, one of the products that we carried, we actually stopped. And it was more of an experiment because Amazon was carrying it, and it was, the product sold so well, we would see the gaps where there's, they would sell out, and then we realized that we could sell a lot of units during those times. And we just wanted to try it. We wanted to see how much buy box we could get throughout the year without those gaps, right? And this was a product that was in the top 100 in beauty. So, I mean, it would literally sell thousands and thousands of units per month.
Wow.
And we carried this product for 6 months. And over the course of time, while Amazon was in stock, we actually sold 0 units at the same price as them. Wow. They were selling for $25. We were listed for $25. And then in that course of time, we sold 0 units.
That's incredible. So you avoid, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Whenever the product sold out, we would sell, it would just go like crazy because it's a top 100 product.
Amazing.
But, and then, we carried another SKU with Amazon, and with that product, we listed it at the same price as them, and we would sell units, is a great seller, and we would sell, 30, 40 units a month. It's just, but there's no rhyme or reason. Like that's the problem. And that's what he was alluding to or said was, it's whenever you're thinking about building a business, you don't think of, well, sometimes this happens and I'll build my plans around sometimes. No, instead you want better concrete information. And that's why we don't compete with Amazon. We don't feel like we have enough information to know if they're going to share the buy box or not. Another thing that we look for is we look for products that are not private labeled. And the logic for not private labeled for us is that a lot of those products were developed for the Amazon marketplace to be sold on the Amazon marketplace. And, they're not, they weren't a company first. They were a product to be sold on Amazon first. And one of the things that we really like and we build our business around is trying to add value. We want to add value to the companies we work with beyond money. I don't want it to be a transactional relationship where I pay you money and you send me a product. Instead, I want to be able to help you or help the businesses that we work with grow their sales, grow their presence, or accomplish whatever goals they're trying to accomplish on Amazon, right? And in that relationship, it's just, I don't feel like we can do that effectively because, their goal was to be a retailer. Their goal was to sell their product on Amazon. And to be more efficient, we avoid private label products. The next thing is, and this one's pretty counterintuitive, we actually look for products with 3 or more sellers. Now, typically you might wonder, like, why are you looking for products with multiple sellers? Like, wouldn't it be more efficient to find products with one seller? And the logic behind that is it helps us, typically products with one seller, they're either private label or they're an existing exclusive for somebody else. Now, for sheer efficiency, we just avoid those products. Instead, we want to reach out to brands where we feel like there's a reasonable chance for us to convert. So we like products that have 3 or more sellers. And then one of our last criteria is price. And this is, I feel like this is probably the most flexible thing in your business, and it should be built around, metrics. But we like products that are more than $20. And the logic behind that is Amazon fees are, the majority of Amazon fees are fairly static. With your pick, pack, and ship fee and all those fees, they're I think it's like $3 now or something like that. Regardless of what the product is, it doesn't actually matter, and it doesn't change unless the product weighs more or something like that. So they're all relatively the same. So the bigger gap we get, on a $10 product, $3 in fees is 30% of that product. Now a lot of the times you can get that into small and light or something like that and affect those fees. But for the most part, the fees just make up a large percentage of the sale price. Now, the higher you get, the lower percentage of sale price that is, and there's more money in there for you to actually earn.
Awesome. Very, very good tips. And I appreciate that. Very thorough answer. And there is still, from what I've seen, what you guys seen, there's a ton of opportunities. So everybody thinks it's already saturated. No, there's so many, considerably sized companies that have their products on Amazon that don't really know entirely what they're doing. And you guys have trained yourselves and your students and your staff to address those needs. So it's like, as opposed to just saying, oh, I need to buy a product so I can just slap it up on Amazon. Let me aggressively call these wholesalers and say, give me your best pricing, etc. You guys are coming to them with a solution they're actually easy things to fix. It may be that the brand's not represented properly. They don't know that they're supposed to have at least 6 images on Amazon. Sellers are piggybacking them with discounted products. They don't like the price plummeting, not adhering to MAP, minimum advertised price. And you guys, through the way that your framework is, you know how to identify those things in addition to the price point, in addition to making sure Amazon's not a seller. You guys know how to identify those things and narrow down by searching through products. Okay, here's an ideal product we can source. We can actually help this brand owner, this manufacturer, correct?
Sure. If I were to say that we were good at anything, it is spotting deficiency. Like, we've trained ourselves to look at an Amazon listing and say that this product could sell better if you change these attributes. Now, I want to preface with, there's absolutely no way that I could personally change any of those attributes. I don't even have a clue how. Like, that's I think the key to succeeding, a key to succeeding in business is just being resourceful. Like, right, so we're good. Those are the 2 things I feel like we're good at. Is number 1, we're good at figuring out what's wrong with something, and then number 2 is I'm good at finding somebody who can fix it.
Right. It does not. You don't have to major in the minors. I do the same thing for my listings. I outsource stuff like my private label products. I outsource, which somebody who's helping a wholesale brand or manufacturer do. I outsource little pieces because I don't know exactly how to optimize something or to create the branding piece that Amazon now allows you if you're a brand owner. What's that called?
Enhanced brand content.
Enhanced brand. I have no idea, and I out for $50. I outsourced it. Right. So I mean, it can be done like that. Do you guys mind if I got a handful of questions here?
Oh, heck yeah, bring them.
We got. Looks like all the questions are from David Barajas. How do you manage your inventory and know when to reorder product?
Well, initially, it's actually funny because whenever you do wholesale, it's not like retail arbitrage. Like, whenever our retail arbitrage inventory would be literally thousands of SKUs. Like, because you're buying 6 of this, 4 of this, 10 of this, 20 of this, 4 of this. Like, it's just, and it's variable, and there's very little replenishability with those products.
And it's a headache.
Right. With wholesale, you can do a lot of sales with very few products. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, we have actually people in our community that with one brand do $1.5–2 million in sales a year with a single brand. And, that may be on 6 or 8 products.
Wow.
So as far as gauging it, we actually tracked everything, our inventory, ourselves, without using any software until we were doing about $100K a month.
Right.
But now that that our business has grown and we're managing more SKUs, we use a program called Restock Pro. And Restock Pro gives us insights as to when we need to reorder and stuff like that.
And actually, David, who asked the question, Amazon will tell you in their interface when you're starting, they'll be sufficient. Amazon tells you you've got low inventory on this. You've got X amount of days that we estimate before you're sold out. So it's not the perfect method if you're doing high volume to rely on just that, and you're gonna have to make projections on their software that can do that. And Dave, I'll take another question from you. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, as far as the Amazon replenishment alerts and things like that, it's actually pretty accurate. I mean, as far as we've seen.
Well, even for large volumes of stuff.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Okay,
we feel like Restock Pro offers a few extra things that kind of help us outside of just replenishing inventory.
I think the problem here, Jordan, you're talking about, can it be used for large SKUs, and you're saying, is it actually worth anything? He's saying that it does well for until you grow your business to a certain point.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I thought. Okay. Yeah.
I think we're on the same page.
Okay.
Yeah, it's but the Amazon system definitely does work.
I mean, that's what we used to use. I mean, we actually that feature came out right when we were still doing RA. I mean, when we first started, there was no Amazon didn't help you any at all. You just had to eyeball it or third-party software or something to that effect. Yeah.
And there's going to be points when people are just getting started. They're going to say, okay, I'm going to order 250 of this item, or spend $1,000 or $500, and they're going to run out, right? So I mean that's part and parcel of getting started. But the beauty of it, it's actually replenishable. So you can go back to the brand owner, manufacturer, and order more.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's actually one of the things that we feel like we do pretty well is project the amount of inventory that we're going to be able to move in a specific period of time. And that's kind of one of our focuses for our businesses. When we started our business, we didn't have an abundance of cash. Like we didn't have a giant war chest to just invest into product and kind of wait until it sold. Instead, we've always been a very cash flow oriented business. That wants to turn inventory quickly and realize our profit and just move into the best possible products. I feel like being nimble can definitely help you grow and scale your business really quick. And having good cash flow is part of being nimble. So
very smart.
As far as that goes, like we've always been really good at, and we actually have a pretty solid method for projecting the amount of inventory that we're specifically going to move in a time period. And that, plus or minus 5 or 10% will get us there almost every time.
Awesome. I want to hit on one of David's other questions because I know the answer to this and I want to hear you guys say it because I love it. How do you deal with other sellers using repricers that drop the price and race to the bottom? It's a great question.
There's actually a couple of different answers for this one. And the first one is you should find better products. And that's one of the things is a lot of people get frustrated whenever they get into wholesale and they hear the word no a whole bunch. That's part of it is a lot of people will not want to work with you just because you're an Amazon seller. And that used to frustrate us a lot. They used to be like, it's just like, gosh, I wonder why they don't want to work with me. But now we actually love hearing no. And here's the trick about those products. Whenever you hear no, you don't see that on those products. You don't see people repricing and dropping their price and lowering it and driving it into the dirt because those brands care. They care about how their products are being represented on Amazon. They care about their price. They care about, they're very guarded against the people that would do that and don't typically work with them. So that's the companies we actually shoot for. We target companies whenever you reach out and they say no, that's the ones we want. Because they represent the best opportunity, and we realize that those products are going to be good for a really long time.
And, I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually had one of my readers heard about this session, and I don't think he could attend, but he sent me a question in advance, and he says, this is good because this is a hardball question, but it's good because this is very truthful today. He says, Jordan, I talk to wholesalers or the brands that refuse to let sellers sell on either eBay or Amazon. I have had some success, but mostly they stopped talking to me. How do you get around that roadblock? We've kind of already said this. Maybe we want to reiterate it. I have tried a few things from representing their brand, ratting out bottom feeders and counterfeiters, and honoring pricing, etc.
Right. First off, whenever you're looking at these situations that are telling you no, right? You have to find out why they're telling you no. Like that's a simple question is, why are you not working with anybody? Because I can't address a problem that I don't understand.
Right.
And that's the thing is it could be any one of 10 different reasons that they're not working with Amazon sellers. So the first thing I would suggest to this person is start asking why. And you're going to find out that a majority of time it's due to bad experience, like with a lot of them things you mentioned, like pricing or
right.
Just, maybe they feel like they're performing fairly well. And that was ultimately kind of a big shift for us. I mentioned that we focus to be very value based, right?
Right.
Rather than just a transactional relationship. So a lot of what we're doing is we're looking at ways that they are currently deficient that we know we can help. And whenever they tell us, we ask them, they say no. We'll ask why, and they're like, oh, we feel like we got our Amazon situation under control. And then we can point to these specific instances. Like, I agree with you. You actually are doing a great job on Amazon and telling people no is part of that. But here are a couple of places that I feel like you can make an improvement. And this is something that we specifically do and can help you with. And typically, not everyone's going to say yes, but they're more likely to work with you. And that's another thing is you have to realize that not all partners are right. Like, you're going to get turned down a lot, but it's finding the right ones that want to work with you and are willing to work with you that is actually what's going to pay the bills for you.
That's awesome answer. I've got a question here from a fellow. His name is not Samsung. I think he's using a Samsung phone. Sorry. Hey, guys, I'm watching the videos the past few months and love the content. I have 2 questions. What does a typical request to set up a wholesale account look like? And what program do you use to sort through a company's wholesale catalog if you wanted to? So I think the second question he's asked has already been answered, is that Dan and Eric don't really look at catalogs anymore. They have some criteria that you'll be able to get in the replay and their free online workshop, the criteria that they look for when trying to find a product to sell. Right, guys? Mm-hmm. But the first question, what does a typical request to set up a wholesale account look like? I don't know. Can you answer that, or is that like more like a black and white sort of thing?
No, I mean that's a simple answer. We find the company that we want to contact, and we just send them we actually send really short, simple emails. What we learned is we split tested a bunch of times, and a bunch of different copy with emails.
Sure.
Really?
Yeah. No. We alternated between long copy and short copy, and images, non-images, and things like this to see the open rates and response rates and stuff like that. And we found that just being pretty concise and to the point, and rather than blathering on about all the things you can do and expert in this and can change this, seems to get lost in the shuffle. People are pretty guarded with their time. I mean, these are generally, pretty important people in the company. So, sure. They responded much better when we split test and did the so, it's as simple as a short little email basically requesting more information on the company. Hey, we're interested in your product. Like to carry it, represent you on, Amazon or something like that effect. And it's just a simple little email, right?
Yeah. And one of the things, and like you said, we went back and forth. Like we tested it, and we would try a lot of our emails initially would try to preliminarily address objections. But that's like throwing darts at a dartboard with your eyes closed. It's not very effective.
Well, what it is, I mean, you're getting in front of somebody here, and then, let's say I'm trying to email Jordan, and he's a big baseball fan or whatever, but I'm just going on about, I can make your hockey game better, I can make your basketball game better, I can make all these things that are true, but just don't necessarily appeal to you or are relevant to you because you're you're wanting to work on your softball game or your baseball game or whatever, and that's it. You're not, so like rather than just listing this bullet point list of all these things that we can do or teach you, instead we just open a dialogue to find out if we can sell it, and then if not, like Dan says, when we get the no, it's like, oh, that's that's fantastic, but why? Could you elaborate a little bit more? And then that's just kind of how you get it going, to find out a bit about what are they trying to learn. I don't know that you like baseball, but I found out when I've asked you why. It's, well, I'm not really interested in learning about hockey or basketball or anything. It's really softball for me. And then that's when you start really directing the conversation about that particular part that you can do and elaborating on that, because that's going to be something that resonates with them, something that means something to them, and you're going to have their ear at that point.
The fact that you guys have mastered this in probably just 2 years, right after you started, 2-3 years, is amazing, because there's so many, you're basically saying respect them as a business and respect their time. And those 2 very basic principles are forgotten by about 90% of the people that are trying to hunt down manufacturers or brand owners. 90% of the sellers, not your students, not the way that you guys do it, but the people that haven't heard of you or followed your free online training or listened to you guys, they're all doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's intuitively you would think that the more information, the better. But it's you're not, whenever you're doing that, you're not speaking their language. You're not speaking to them like a person, and you're taking out. You're if anything, you're just raising objections or concerns rather than addressing them.
And I think the thing too is that this is a little bit more abstract concept, but it's a lot of us as sellers, particularly starting out, we're a little apprehensive, have a little bit of the imposter syndrome. So I've got to show you all these things I can do to prove that I'm this great company and I'm really awesome and my company's really awesome and things like that. And so we think that by listing everything that we've ever done on the platform is a boon or a positive. And that's not the case, because you're dealing with another business whose time is very important and very valuable to them too.
Right. And they're not going to care about all that you've accomplished, what you're going to do for them. Look, if we're going too fast for folks, there's a free workshop. I probably already emailed you already. It starts on August 6th. This is absolutely free, no catch. The wholesaleformula.biz. You sign up for their free workshop. You're going to learn step by step a lot of what Dan and Eric are talking about. So a lot of this is going too fast. Oh, how do I do that? That is in that free workshop, the wholesaleformula.biz.
Yeah, that workshop is purposely designed to be concise too. It's better than, Dan and I get very excited sometimes and get off on tangents, but what the workshop's going to do is direct you through in a very concise manner, the manner that you can understand. You're going to have visuals and things that it's going to be easier to understand and in better depth than we're able to articulate necessarily here properly.
Here's a great question from Edward. How do you effectively modify a listing you don't own? Meaning, if you guys are authorized to sell a brand, and I'm just spelling this out for the people that are new to this. If Dan and Eric are authorized to sell a brand and the brand says, hey, I don't like the way our listing is, it's missing a photo, it's missing this information. What are I would assume in theory it's very simple. You would just ask for he has to be set up as an admin to help them?
No, you don't even have to. I mean, unless a product is enrolled in brand registry, and the vast majority aren't. If a product is not enrolled in brand registry,
right,
anybody can request a change. As long as you're a seller on that listing, you can request a change.
As long as you have some proper documentation, you have to have documentation on why you're changing it. They're not just going to change it because, well, I think it should be changed because it'll look better. But if it's missing information, vital information, you generally have to provide links to the company's website or whatever. But like you said, you open up a case, right?
Right. It's just opening up a case and requesting those changes be made. And like Eric said, showing the documentation behind it. And if you can't find the documentation on their website, get them to write you a letter on their letterhead and submit that as part of that case. And it's, typically gets changed pretty quickly. Now, if they're a brand registered company, the way to get that changed is ask them to make you a registered agent for their account. And adding an agent takes 5 minutes, and killing it or deleting an agent takes 3 to 5 minutes as well. So it's not anything permanent. And once you explain that process to a company, they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, just go ahead and we'll go ahead and get that done, and then you can make changes on their behalf."
And that registering an agent, that just means authorizing somebody else to be able to access certain aspects of their seller account, which you do right.
Well, no, that's specifically with brand registry. Like when you register an agent for brand registry, that authorizes me to be somebody who can make changes to a brand registered product.
And if somebody Googles register an agent for Amazon brand registry, those instructions are probably in there, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's super easy.
Anybody who doesn't know, okay, cool, all right.
But very few products are brand registered. I mean, it's
interesting.
Yeah.
But in the instance that they are brand registered, like that process,
it's really sweet.
It's super easy. I mean, once they add you as once they add you as a registered agent for that brand, making changes is incredibly easy. Like it's much easier than even creating a case.
I did it for one of my private label brands. It was very easy. Yeah. And I wonder, is that a good value add to be able to present to a brand owner? Or they just don't care?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely one of the biggest pitches that we make now is if your product is not brand registered, it should be. And it's, it should be as part of protection for you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a process that on our end takes us 15 minutes to help them with.
Right.
Like we get the ball rolling, give them the documentation, and they just take off running from there. But if they're not brand registered, nobody has ever told them about it. Nobody's ever told them why they need it and why it's useful.
That's a great lead-in for people who are contacting manufacturers and brand owners, correct?
For sure.
You guys that are watching, make note of that because that's an excellent discussion point. One question that we're going to take, one more question from David. He's very, very excited. Do you guys use any popular tools to source products? I think he says tactical arbitrage, but that's more for retail arbitrage. So I know that I've seen you guys on a great webinar. If you go to YouTube, you guys do a great video with Greg Mercer from Jungle Scout. Yeah. So you have used in the past, or maybe you use now, Jungle Scout to actually narrow down products that are ideal for.
Absolutely. One of the key features, particularly with Jungle Scout Pro, is it lets you filter products very, very quickly, and with a lot of different parameters. Right. So and then they have the extract next page feature. So that allows you to kind of set what you want as far on a product search, and then start extracting pages and pages and pages and just accumulate a ton of data really quickly. So it makes the whole sourcing and finding good leads process incredibly easy.
Excellent. I want to type in a URL here for people that can get to Jungle Scout if you want to. I'm sure they don't have a free trial anymore, but you can actually use that. Dan and Eric had used that before to narrow down product selection.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's honestly, it's one of the best tools we've ever found. And how we got started using it is we were trying to develop our own tool to
That's
do
right.
it.
I remember that.
And I tested Jungle Scout, and I was like, "Wait, this is actually just way better than anything we're trying
already." Yeah.
I just want to stop the questions for a minute. And if your question's not answered, folks, you're invited to join a free Facebook group just for you guys. Anybody watching this webinar, the wholesaleformula.biz/FB for Facebook. I'm going to copy and paste that in there. The wholesaleformula.biz/FB Facebook. Dan and Eric have set up a Facebook group to answer any of your questions on sourcing wholesale. Right, guys?
That's right.
Yeah, let me talk. I'll tell a little bit more about this workshop, because it's anybody who doesn't sign up for it is doing themselves a major disservice.
Right.
In this workshop, what we're going to cover is how we find products, how we analyze products, and how we start developing those relationships. Like literally, if you go do that workshop, you can start with wholesale. Like, I mean, we'll cover all of the key factors to get you started with wholesale. Beyond that, like we literally are dedicating, like I think it's about a 10-day period that we're just going to be answering all the questions that come into that Facebook group. Like we're going to really try to help people get started and answer their questions and just show them, what this model is and how it works.
And how massive the opportunity is. I mean, it's phenomenal. You touched on it first, and we never really did circle back on it too much, but like the opportunity with Amazon's growth is just, and the number of products. I mean, that's just, that's not even including the amount of products that currently don't even exist on Amazon. I mean, it's just it's such a phenomenal opportunity. And I know it's easy to fall in the scarcity mindset and things of this nature. We all have done it, but I mean, the longer I'm in this, the more amazing the opportunity becomes. And as Amazon continues to grow, Prime membership continues to grow, and just all of commerce directing toward this platform. I mean, it's the time. It's an opportunity to make a lot of money, start a business on your own, and really, take things under your own control. And the opportunity is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I run into small businesses all the time that they don't have their products yet on Amazon, and they're always asked, "Hey, how do I get started?" So, you guys are very good at talking about the overall marketplace for Amazon. I deliberately don't do that because you hear it from others and it sounds very sales pitchy, not you guys. But that is very true. That if you guys think that it's saturated now, it's the opposite. I mean, this is like Amazon like 1.0 still.
And for the record, I'm not saying just in wholesale as opportunity. I'm just saying the Amazon platform. That's whether it's retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, private label, wholesale. Just being on that platform is where you want to be. If this interests you at all, of e-commerce and this is where you want to be and get it going. And this is, like Dana mentioned too, this workshop is phenomenal. Of course, it is more geared and focused toward wholesale, but there's just learning about the Amazon platform. You're going to learn so much information no matter what model you use on the Amazon platform that's in there that teaches you how we analyze sales rank, like sales equity in products. And you're just going to understand a lot more of the dynamic of how the platform works. And of course, if wholesale interests you, it's going to be a lot of great information specifically to that and how we use it. But it really is a phenomenal amount of information. We only roll it out twice a year, and it's for a limited time. So you need to get in there while we've got it up. It's about 10 days. It starts Tuesday, I think, and then we'll take it down in about 10 days or so after that. So I also want to tell you that you don't have to be there. Day one starts Tuesday, but if you're not able to do it, day two is Wednesday, but you can watch both days. It stays open as they get released, and you have that time to watch them. So if you can't make it live or with the time it's released, is completely fine, but you do have a limited time to watch them, which is about, I'm thinking around 10 days. So you really need to get in there, make the most of it. The opportunity cost is just your time. You've got that free Facebook group to ask questions. I mean, it's like you're just doing yourself a disservice if you're trying to make money on Amazon and not even checking that stuff out. And
there's somebody that just asked a question: why are you guys doing the free workshop? What is your incentive? And before you answer that, let me just say very broadly that I've been with these guys for the past, I don't know, you guys and I have been partners for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
And literally when they are saying you can take all this information that's free and get started selling get started sourcing and selling wholesale, there's like no tricks here. Okay. So they're actually, because I've seen what they do, they actually over deliver every time they do this. It's very rare. You guys do it like once or twice a year. you end up throwing in stuff that you didn't even plan on throwing in, that is giving people actually step-by-step templates and instructions on exactly what to do, and answering. People will jump in the Facebook group and say, hey, guys, this wholesaler won't talk to me. This was his answer. Or, excuse me, this brand manufacturer won't talk to me. This is his answer. What do I do? You guys are actually in this Facebook group answering the questions. It's only for, all this free information that you can get is only going to be limited time, August 6th through the 11th, I think. Yeah. So grab it, capitalize on it. There's really no tricks here. It's not like you're going to have to give your credit card for a $0 fee, and we promise not to charge you. It's not like that.
Right. No.
It's all free, and you can take it and run with it, or you can do, if it doesn't appeal to you, you can go back to private label, retail arbitrage. There's opportunities there too. So.
No, for us, it's about transparency. I mean, that's the thing is I don't think it's any secret that we sell a course.
Right.
But we want people to understand our model. We want people to understand what we do and how we do it before they would ever even think about buying anything from us. Our course is not even for sale.
Right.
That's the thing is and that's the reason we do that is we want people to come in and understand maybe this is a model for them, maybe it's not. But either way, that was what Eric was talking about is if you want to be a retail arbitrage seller and a better one, you should join that workshop. Because if you join that workshop, you're going to see how we analyze products. And we have spent years, and we have employees that are constantly trying to update how we look at a product and how we think about the products that we're buying. So regardless of what model you use to acquire your products, this workshop will help you understand that platform better. It'll help you understand products better, and it'll help you understand how to make money on Amazon better.
Very good answer. This is a great question. I remember asking this the last time around, and I like your answer. Do you take this from Jerry? Hi, Jerry. Do you take the weight of individual items in mind when researching products?
Not particularly. What we're looking for, honestly, is I don't care if I could make money selling cars on Amazon, I would sell cars. Like I don't care how big the product is. Everything else is just a puzzle piece of trying to figure out how to make it work. So what we look for is we just look for products that fit our criteria, that we feel like we can make money with, and then ultimately we try to find the right partners to buy those products from. And when that kind of matches up, figuring out the logistics of carrying a product is really easy. I mean, we actually, I don't know if I've talked to you about this yet, Jordan, but we recently closed our warehouse. Oh. We are 100% prep center based now.
Oh, absolutely.
That's very, very important. Look at any of you guys that are watching this. These two guys that you're looking at still make a ton of money sourcing and selling wholesale, but up until just now, they were owning and renting and operating their own warehouse, which is very expensive.
Well, it's not just that. It's a lot of responsibility. I mean, like whenever you have a warehouse, you have a lot of overhead. Whether products coming in or out, it doesn't matter. You have a lot. You have to work with. You have to supervise people. There's just more moving parts in it, and it's all parts that we didn't feel like we were incredibly good at, or at least we weren't passionate about. We weren't passionate about the warehousing side. What we're passionate about is making things sell better on Amazon and finding products to sell on Amazon. And when we start talking about it, it was like, why do we even, why aren't we just focused on that aspect of our business? Like that's the part we love. That's the part we're good at. So we started making a concentrated effort to close our warehouse and move out to Prep Center. And currently, I think we've been in Prep Centers solid for 2 months now.
Sounds about right.
Like we've completely in Prep Center. So it's definitely a change, but it honestly, it's the model we wanted. It's a model we always wanted.
You can't be excellent on both, right? I mean, you could try, and I'm sure you guys were still excellent on both, but you want to be more product focused, Amazon focused. I just posted a link to my blog for everybody. If you look in the chat, there's a link where I go over how to find a prep center and who some of my trusted prep center partners are. So very, very critical is that people start thinking, I'm going to source wholesale. Where am I going to put the stuff? There's pre-fulfillment centers that there's a lot of competition now. They're eager to take your business, and they handle the intake for you from your shipments and the prepping for Amazon, the inspection and sending to the labeling and sending to the Amazon warehouse. So that is a part of your business that's much easier for you to outsource than to own and operate. Easier and cheaper.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me get to, I'm going to take one more question from David. Do you recommend Where's this question? Keepa and Camel
Yeah.
are a reliable way to analyze sales.
Yes. I mean, it's a big part of what we use every day sourcing products. So, I mean, we have the inline, every computer here has the inline Keepa on the Amazon listing. It's, I guess, a Chrome extension, right?
Yeah. And honestly, there's just no reason to not use those. Like, it gives, it gives you so much data. Like, you get to see historical sales trend. You get to see if Amazon was a seller. And it can just getting familiar looking at those Keepa graphs and camel graphs can save you so much money in mistakes. And that's the thing is, that's the thing about wholesale, and that's one of the big differences for us with wholesale versus our retail arbitrage where we came from. Whenever you're making a decision on a retail arbitrage product, you're at the store and you've scanned it, and you got to make a decision one way or another, right? It's not very efficient to go home and think about it and then come back.
Right.
But all the decisions we make in wholesale are in front of our computer. So we can get to look at all the information that we want. We can sit there and we can go over the Keepa graphs. We can go over all these things to make sure that we're making a right decision, and then we pull the trigger. So you're much. I don't know. It's hard to explain how that mindset's different, but it gives you. To me, it gives me a lot more security to realize that I can see all that information
confidently. I mean, you have that historical data. It's insane. It's easy to take advantage of now that we're used to it. But I mean, this stuff didn't exist back when we were going. That's what led to some of the pitfalls we fell into. So it's definitely something, and it's free. You should definitely take advantage of it, no matter what type of model you use on Amazon. It's amazing information.
So those of you that are watching, I just posted the links in the chat chat area. Camel.com and Keepa.com are two easy to use free tools that you can use to analyze any Amazon products, sales history, pricing, etc. Cool. Let's do. I just want to jump in here. You guys are having a contest where people can. You're going to be giving away 3 $500 gift cards, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know how you guys are keeping the doors open over there and giving away all this stuff for free. But if you go to wholesaleformula.biz/gift card, you can enter the contest. The instructions are there. The wholesaleformula.biz/gift card. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll put the link here. So make sure you guys go there, follow the instructions to win. You got to enroll in the free workshop. Right. And then there's some instructions.
You have to join that Facebook group that you're talking about.
Yes,
because the winner is going to be drawn randomly from the members of that group before we shut it down. So, that you have to be signed up for the workshop, and you have to be in the Facebook group, the wholesaleformula.biz/FB that you were talking about.
Awesome, and another generous move from you guys. Here's a great question from David. This is really good. I like this. Is the FBA small and light program something you guys use, or maybe you can talk to? Is there a pro and con to it?
It's
the con is we don't use it enough. I mean, we're just now getting started. We're learning, because that's the thing is we're actually been trying to develop software to highlight those, or so to speak, or extract it. Because that's the thing is it's not a program that is it's still in beta phases, I guess, for Amazon. So they don't have a lot of help with you for finding the product or identifying it or things of that nature. So you got to kind of work around. There's not a great calculator. I actually designed a rudimentary FBA small and light calculator where you can put in a few things and it'll tell you what you would return if the product's registered as small and light for you. So it's certainly an opportunity. And beyond that, I would actually more holistically say that any type of those programs that Amazon ever offers you to look into, small and light, hazmat, any kind of these programs, when they roll them out, they're usually very aggressive with incentives, and you can get on and ahead of the competition. Because that's the thing is, like with small and light, this also ties in what we were talking about earlier about the weight of the product, the size of the product. Generally, the harder it is to handle, the fewer people will do it, the less the competition. The thing is small and light. It's not very easy right now. So if you're in there and your foot's in the door, you're going to be ahead of the curve. You're going to be making all this money while everybody else catches up. And that's the thing is, like with a big product or a heavy product, a lot of people don't want to deal with shipping it in. So there's usually fewer sellers. Competition is generally lower because it's a little higher barrier to entry. And it's the same kind of thing. So small and light specifically is something that we are trying to ramp up, taking advantage of in the last 6 weeks. We've really been moving that program initiative forward. And then, like I said, anybody that sells on Amazon for an extended period of time, you'll notice every 3 to 6 months a different program, a different structure. Something comes along that Amazon tries to
I've literally never seen a bad one. Have you?
No.
I've never seen one that didn't make.
I mean, there's some that didn't fit with our business model. Like we tried them, and it did. We like the business, you know, the when they worked out the business thing where you can give discounts when people buy, and you know, if you sold a lot of products that it was business to business products where you can incorporate a discount for those type of customers, that didn't really work for us. But we have students that it did because of the types of products they sell. So you should always look into them. They may not fit your business, and you may not be able to exploit them or take advantage of them. But if you are, you're first in line on this huge freight train. So it's like it's I just can't go on about like what a phenomenal opportunity it is to be able to sell and be on Amazon these days. Honestly, it's insane.
And very broadly speaking, for people who don't know, and guys confirm this, the FBA Small and Light program is really an incentive that Amazon is offering sellers to provide what they classify as small and light products for lesser fees.
Right.
So your profit margin on a small and light product, you guys can Google, Amazon FBA small and light. Your profit margin for small and light product is going to be considerably higher than for a product that's not small and light. Correct?
Oh yeah,
right.
And that actually changes the game on a lot of the small and light products. Like some of them with traditional Amazon fees aren't profitable, but when you enroll them into the small and light program, they go to phenomenal.
Right.
And that's
Really?
that's one right, and that's one of the things that he mentioned that we're working on a software to find those opportunities, and it's because we realize that we realize that a product can be not profitable to a great product, and just by enrolling it.
That's incredible. And I to think of it, I had one of my private label, three of my private label products would be classified as small and light, and I haven't done anything about that.
Yeah.
So I need to look into that. That's interesting.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, leaving a lot of money on the table. Can you guys just mention your students? And Dan, you said earlier it's no surprise that you guys in the past have offered a paid carte blanche version, of your wholesale formula. But you recently, a blog article, you surveyed all your students. Only a fraction of them answered. Really, like a fourth or something.
Yeah, I think it's like a little over 400. I think.
Yeah, 420 responses.
Okay.
And their total Amazon sales to date collectively were
$500 million.
$500 million with a B.
Yeah, the
$500 million.
$500 million.
And that's only the ones who responded. So you could argue that there's probably a very good chance if you included the non-recipients, it could be close to $1 billion.
It's definitely over $1 billion. I don't think it's a stretch at all to say it's easily over $1 billion. Now, whether it extrapolates out 4x, that doesn't make any difference. Just being over $1 billion is pretty impressive, if you ask me. So, people who are questioning that, I've seen the data. I've seen the data of just like a smaller, like maybe a dozen of their students, the wholesale formula students, and their sales. It's mind-boggling. It's almost like how did this many zeros fit on their screen? It's just mind-boggling to watch, But I think congratulations, guys. That speaks a lot to your integrity and how solid you are in all of your offerings, and including there's a handful of students I know that just took your free stuff and ran with it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And they email me back and they say, "Hey, Jordan, I'm doing a mill this year based on the free information I got in the wholesale formula workshop."
That's phenomenal.
Exactly.
So God bless them.
That's the thing that's why we always suggest that people sign up for that workshop. That's the kind of environment, and it's the kind of training that can literally change. It can change your life. That's completely free. It's one of those things where if you go, you dedicate yourself to, you watch those videos and you ask questions and participate, like you can legitimately develop a business from that stuff, and it's free. Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that some people that enroll with you guys, they don't get very elaborate with any of the steps. Some of them just go home and make a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
They might not even have like a website, which you recommend. And I agree, having a website, a domain, Malik Enterprises, and Jordan at malikenterprises.com, and under the proper template to contact. Some of them just call up. Hey, I noticed you're on Amazon, and can I be a reseller? And the guy's like, yeah, okay. So it's like a numbers game.
Yeah.
Some people are just striking gold just right out of the gate. And it happens. So that's great. L. Erickson asked me, who is that in your lap? Well, it's definitely a dog.
It's a little guy.
She's getting restless. I had to put her on my lap for her. But Cinnamon, she'll be 14 next month.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's been through a lot, but she's alive and happy. So unless there's other questions, if you guys have any further questions that you want to ask that were not answered, go to the Facebook group. Here it is. The wholesaleformula.biz /FB is that's for Facebook. Head over there, and Dan, Eric, or Dylan, who's the third partner, will be happy to answer your questions. And I'll put the link in again in the chat box. Guys, this has been terrific.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So everybody head to the wholesaleformula.biz and get your hands on the free workshop that starts in just a few days. And I'm putting the links up there again because these guys are for real. They're going to be helping people for free, and it's a no-brainer, particularly right now because we just started August. And the next couple months, if anybody is considering doing sourcing wholesale for Christmas, the next couple months are critical, right, guys?
Absolutely.
They're going to want to be reaching out to suppliers like within the next 60 days.
Right.
Thinking about Christmas, if that's your gig. So you guys have been terrific again, as always.
Yeah,
hey man, it's always awesome being on with you. Your guys bring and your community brings so many awesome questions. Like that's every time I feel like they're throwing some good ones at us. So I love being on with you, Jordan. Good,
and congratulations to your success, guys. Also, just your own wholesale business alone, your product business is tremendous, and we're glad you outsourced to a pre-fulfillment center, and that you guys are on the up and up. And thanks for being an inspiration to all of us too.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. And everybody who's watching this will be getting a replay soon. Watch your email.
All right. Thanks.
See you guys.